Dear servant, chosen one, this message that has found you is not a random piece of content adrift in the infinite noise of your social media feed. This is a divine commission from the throne room of glory, a direct summons to your spirit. You have been called for a trial unlike any you have faced before, the most intricate and insidious test of this age. The order is clear, the urgency of your task is greater than ever. You have been tasked to go after, to hunt, and by the grace of God, to uproot a cunning enemy who challenges the authority of the Most High, corrupts hearts enslaved by algorithms, poisons minds with false news, and coils around lives like a serpent with the false glitter of the digital world. You can already feel that deep pull, that strange tension in the depths of your soul. This is not the endless anxiety of doom scrolling that emanates from screens. This is an alignment. Your spirit is locking into the divine duty that was written into your life before you ever took your first breath. Every battle you have survived, every scar you have carried, every disappointment you have faced was preparing you for this very moment, to stand against the great deception of this digital age. While you thought you were merely enduring personal hardships, you were in fact being forged in the courts of heaven for a war where truth and falsehood are deliberately mixed. Your name has been spoken in a council heard by angels and heard by the darkness and its digital whispers. The decree has been given. Send him, send her. And now you stand at the edge of a battlefield that is as real as it is virtual. One you cannot yet fully see, but whose effects you feel every single day. Do not think you were chosen because you are the most intelligent, the most popular, or the most online. You were chosen because you are willing. Because when others hesitated, when they said, "It's just a game," you would grasp the gravity of the matter and you would obey. For heaven knows that when you confront the darkness of this modern age, you will never back down. This war cannot be won alone. Descend now into the comments and say Amen to the prayer or intention of the brother or sister who wrote just before you. Even add a sentence like, "Lord, grant the desire of my sibling who came before me." Let us become each other's invisible guardians and don the armor woven from prayers, an armor that no sword can ever pierce. Remember that you are not on this path by yourself. Every challenge you have encountered was a trial that made you stronger. Every tear you shed was a rain of mercy, cleansing your soul from the filth of the world. God created you not to live an ordinary life, swept away by the current, but to be a witness and a servant to His eternal truths in this transient world. This duty is a grace for you. Because God tests the servant, He loves and equips him against the tribulations of the age in which he lives. The weight you feel on your shoulders right now is, in fact, a sign of the divine trust bestowed upon you. The potential to be a light in the chaos of this era. The help of God, just as He sent down a sense of tranquility and security to His prophet and his companion in their most difficult moment, as described in the 40th verse of the Book of Repentance, is with you today with the same power. Do not grieve, for God is with us. This is not merely a historical whisper of comfort. It is a command valid for today's battlefield. You are stepping into a confrontation where heaven itself will lead, a struggle where the echo of truth will silence the noise of lies. Your role is to hold your ground, to reject fear and despair, and to witness how the power of God renders even the enemy armed with the most modern weapons helpless before your very eyes. Realize this. The enemy you are commissioned to face is not a simple threat. It is a power that has survived for generations by changing its form, and in our time, it uses all the means of technology to weaken blood ties, to sever communication within families, to draw a curtain of deepfake images and artificial intelligence generated lies over the truth, and to make people slaves to virtual identities. It has grown arrogant within its own virtual networks, deceived by its interaction numbers and armies of followers. But this arrogance is its greatest weakness. When the light of God within you, that is, your love for truth and your discernment, touches its false structures, it will have nowhere to hide. The sudden mental fatigue you have felt recently, the strange lack of productivity in your days, the moments you sensed an invisible opposition. All these are signs that the enemy is aware of your awakening. The adversary and his legions are restless because even your alignment with the truth in this digital war is a threat. You are not a passive content consumer in God's dominion. You are a weapon sharpened by trials and set aside for the most critical struggles of this age. Delay, in this age of speed, is more dangerous than ever. When heaven calls, hesitation means missing opportunities. This message finds you now because the countdown has already begun. The positioning began before you even watched this. Angels are around you, forming spiritual ranks that protect and support you. In the realm of spirits, instructions are being issued for this new struggle. From this moment on, every conscious step you take has significance. You will receive strategies directly from the Spirit, precise maneuvers to dismantle the enemy's dominion over minds. This is not a war measured in follower counts or likes. This will be a war of obedience and spiritual authority. The sincere sentences you form, the heartfelt prayers you make, and the steps you take for the sake of truth will carry immense weight in the unseen realm. And every act of obedience will be like a hammer blow to the enemy's seemingly strongest virtual fortresses. Your very presence changes the atmosphere. When you stand in stillness amidst the pollution of information, the darkness is disturbed. When you mention the name of God in a situation where everyone else is casting curses, the spiritual tension in that environment trembles. When you align with heaven's eternal principles, the enemy loses ground. This mission is not just about exposing a fake profile or a false news story. It is about declaring to all the modern forces of hell, I am not afraid, and I am not alone. If you know in the depths of your spirit that this message is the confirmation you have been seeking for days, then seal this agreement with a symbolic step. Right now, write the number 144 in the comments, a number that speaks of those chosen by God and sealed against the deceptions of this age, mark it to stand with the truth in the final confrontations between light and darkness. Declare openly that you accept this mission, that you will stand in this digital breach, that you will see the influence of this modern adversary broken. Your mission has already begun. You have heard the call. The moments, intentions, and actions that follow will set everything in motion. Hold your position. Be ready. The war is on every screen, at every moment. And know this, when you step forward, you do not step alone. The same God who parted the sea, who shut the mouths of lions, who softened the hardest hearts, now goes before you. Every sincere step you take will echo like a war drum in the spiritual realm. When you move for the truth, heaven moves with you. The darkness already knows your name, your intention, and it fears this coming awakening. While the enemy constantly whispers of your defeats, let us shout to him the victories of God. In the comments, write in a single word a trial from which the Lord has previously saved you, brought you to victory. Sickness, debt, temptation, slander. Let each comment be a living witness to the power of God, and say to those who have lost hope, your Lord will save you again. You feel it before you see it. The mark, not drawn with ink, not created with pixels, but stamped deep within your soul. It is not a wound, but sometimes it aches. It is not a chain, but it binds you to your mission with an unbreakable strength. This mark is heaven's seal upon you. It is a silent but undeniable declaration to both angels and demons. This one has been set apart for the task of this age. The moment of your commissioning has arrived. You may not remember the exact hour, but you remember that internal shift, that moment of awakening. The wearying weight of the world lifted from you, and in its place came a fierce clarity and tranquility, like a ship finding harbor in a stormy sea. The distractions that once held your mind captive, the endless notifications, the meaningless debates suddenly lost their power. Your focus narrowed. Your heart, despite all the noise of the world, grew calm. This is what happens when God marks you for a purpose, when He consecrates you for His service. Your spirit aligns with His, and the digital cacophony of the world fades into a meaningless hum in the background. This mark is not an ornament. It is a proclamation in the unseen realm. Demons recognize it as soldiers recognize the insignia of a commander. They know the spiritual weight it carries. They know you move not in your own strength, but under divine authority. You will notice this in the coming days. How the eyes of certain people, especially those fully immersed in the world's deception, slide away when they meet yours. The sudden tension in environments where darkness, falsehood, and discord are hidden. This is not human intimidation. This is spiritual recognition. Long before this moment, God spoke of such signs to His servants. The light of faith in the hearts shines on the face of the believer. God states in the 48th chapter of the Holy Scripture, the book of victory, that believers have a mark on their faces from the effects of prostration. You carry something even greater, not just a mark of protection, but a seal of purpose. Your visible badge in the spiritual realm says, "This one is on the mission of this age." But this mark is also a responsibility. The enemy sees it and does not ignore you. You have been elevated to a higher threat level. And with that comes a higher level of warfare. Some will feel uneasy around you without knowing why. Some worldly opportunities may suddenly close. This will not be because you are unworthy, but because heaven is moving you away from environments that would dull your sharpness and divert you from your purpose. With the mark also comes a sharpening. You will sense false news and manipulated information more quickly, recognize digital traps sooner, and have a stronger intuition, a discernment about the unseen motives of people and situations. This is not paranoia. This is a prophetic awareness, a direct effect of carrying heaven's commission. The modern deception you are called to destroy operates in layers of deceit. And God is already removing from you the ability to be deceived, placing in your heart a furqan, the ability to distinguish right from wrong. Sometimes this mark will feel like a fire in your chest. You may awaken at night, your spirit suddenly stirred, your heart beating fast, with no apparent reason. Pay attention. These are not random moments. This is your spirit calling you either to pray, to contemplate, or to listen. Your mark is both a shield and a signal, and when heaven needs your attention, it will activate the seal within you. The ancient words recorded in the 30th chapter of the book of the Romans still echo today. So set your face toward the religion, inclining to truth. Adhere to the fitrah of Allah, upon which He has created all people. You have been marked with this seal of original nature because you were called. You were called because you were created with this potential before the foundations of the world were laid. And because you were chosen, you have been purified, prepared, and now sent into a battle that concerns not just the present, but destinies that extend far beyond your own life. This spiritual state will also act like a magnet for certain people. Some will be drawn to you because their spirits will sense in your presence a security, a sincerity they cannot find in this false world. They will not be able to explain it. Others will be repelled because the darkness, falsehood, and pride within them will feel threatened by the light of your truth. Do not be surprised if someone who barely knows you asks you for spiritual counsel, or if another takes a stand against you for no reason. These are the side effects of carrying something the world cannot measure, but the spiritual realm cannot ignore. In the coming days, you will notice the mark becoming more active when you enter digital or physical environments where deception, falsehood, and spiritual decay are most intense. The air will feel heavier. Conversations will become meaningless, or emotions will suddenly intensify without cause. Do not let this worry you. This is heaven's way of confirming that you are moving in the right direction, that you are walking directly upon the enemy's fortress. You must protect the mark. While no power of hell can erase it, your own negligence and inclination to sin can dull its effectiveness. Compromise blurs clarity. Distraction delays purpose. The mark is strongest when you remain in complete submission to the one who gave it. Remember, this is not a medal to be displayed, but a weapon to be used. Your mission does not begin when you enter the battlefield. It begins now. With the awareness of the mark you carry, every choice you make from this point on, every click, every comment you write will either sharpen you or weaken you for what is to come. The deception of this age that you are about to confront already knows your name. Soon, it will also know your victory. You cannot defeat what you do not understand. That is why, before you take a single step toward your target, heaven reveals to you the profile of the enemy you will face. This is not guesswork or superstition. This is divine intelligence. Just as armies study the weaknesses of their enemies, the Spirit equips you with information that will pierce the enemy's armor. The adversary of this age before you has a name, a history, and a pattern. Its name is acedia, a spiritual sloth and heedlessness. Its history is as old as humanity, and its pattern is distraction and deception. It has worked in cycles, attacking families, cities, and even nations, leaving behind scars that are mistaken for ordinary struggles like depression, anxiety, and familial fragmentation. This spirit thrives in the shadows of compromise. It begins with the whisper, "Just this once won't hurt." It does not burst in loudly. It whispers for years. It sows such small lies, such seemingly harmless sins through screens that no one notices until entire lives are built upon them, until addictions are formed. It is ancient. It has seen generations come and go. It whispers the same words to you now, modified with modern technology, that it whispered to your ancestors. You are weak. Everyone lives like this. You will fail. Nothing will change. This is its weapon, not brute force, but a spiritual erosion that wears away courage and will until obedience seems impossible. God declares in the 51st verse of the book of the believers, "Indeed, we will support our messengers and those who believe during the life of this world and on the day when the witnesses will stand." This verse is more than a comfort. It is a decree against the adversary of this age. Its weapons, its algorithms, its fake news will not endure. Its accusations, its slanders will be silenced. But you must remember that while its defeat is guaranteed, your struggle is still necessary. God does not send you merely to survive in this digital swamp. He sends you to uproot this veil of heedlessness and leave no trace of its influence. You will recognize its work by the remnants it leaves behind. Exhaustion and fear where there should be courage. A meaningless silence and emptiness where there should be remembrance and contemplation. Cycles of spiritual defeat disguised simply as the normal course of life. It is a master in the art of convincing people that their digital prisons are normal, even desirable. But you are not here to accept the normal, this false normality. You are here to expose the lie and break the cycle. That is why your insight, your discernment, has been sharpened recently. Those unsettling dreams, the sudden insights about situations or people you were never told about, those details are the spirit pointing to the enemy's digital and spiritual fingerprints. You will see that the greatest weapon of this age's adversary is not its power, but the ignorance and heedlessness of those it attacks. Be vigilant. When the enemy realizes you can see it clearly, it will try to hide itself again. Sometimes it will appear as a beneficial job opportunity, sometimes as a comfortable relationship, even sometimes as a false spiritual peace. But a false blessing always crumbles in the face of trial. You will learn to test everything by the light of God's eternal truth, not by the ease of your emotions or fleeting desires. And here is a warning. This adversary does not fear noise because it feeds on noise itself. It fears authority. You can shout at it all day, wear out keyboards, and see that nothing changes. But the moment you speak with the authority of the one who sent you, with sincerity and complete submission, the atmosphere changes. That is why the spiritual mark you carry, that discernment, is vital. It is your credential in the spiritual realm. Without it, words are empty. With it, every sincere word becomes a sword. Now, as you prepare to face this ancient but modern-looking spirit, take a step of prophetic alignment. Write, "I see you" in the comments. Say it, because this is the moment the veil of heedlessness is torn. Say it as a declaration to the adversary of this age that its camouflage has failed, that you recognize its digital fingerprints, its traps, and its lies. Say it as a battle cry to heaven that you are ready, and to hell that the hunt has begun. When you write those words, you are stepping into the role of a hunter who has made eye contact with his prey, declaring to the entire spiritual realm that there will be no place to hide, no escape, and that this mission will, by God's will, end in victory. The profile is clear. The enemy is exposed. The strike will come soon. And when that moment arrives, every hesitation within you must die. There will be no time for second guessing, for what ifs. No room for fear. You will move with the precision of one trained for this hour. Every step will be fueled by divine authority. The devil will recognize the fire in your eyes, the resolve in your posture, and know his time is up. The warriors of heaven, the angels, will take you under their wings, unseen but unshakable. When the command is given and your blow strikes, it will not just be a victory. It will be a declaration that will echo through eternity. The battlefield has been chosen, and it is not random. Heaven does not wage war in vague directions. Each confrontation is set in a place that holds meaning for both the enemy and the mission. Today's battlefield is often not a physical space. It is your mind, your heart, and most especially the screen at your fingertips. A social media platform, a news website, an online gaming environment, even a family WhatsApp group. What makes them a battlefield is not their landscape, but the spiritual weight they carry. These places have become fortresses long before you became aware of the danger. The enemy has claimed them as his territory. He has sunk his roots not with the innocent blood shed there, but with the seeds of discord sown, with gossip, with lies, with rebellion, and with oaths spoken in ignorance. You must understand this. Demons do not just float in a void. They anchor themselves, weaving their influence into these digital and social environments until the platform itself seems to echo their presence, their whispers. And yet, no matter how unshakable these virtual fortresses may seem, they are only as strong as the lies and heedlessness that sustain them. The moment truth steps inside, the foundations of those false structures begin to shake. That is why you have been sent here to this modern battlefield. This is not just a war for the pixels around you. It is a war for the spiritual ground beneath your feet, for the dominion of your heart. When you enter this chosen digital or social space, you will feel the difference. The air may feel heavier, meaning your mind may become cloudier. Conversations and comments may carry a hostile undertone, and your spirit will perceive an unspoken tension, the scent of discord. Do not dismiss this as imagination or the new normal. The Spirit of God is tuning your spiritual senses to recognize the environment as it truly is. You will not be blind to what others overlook, to what they say, "What's the big deal about?" As was said to the people of Moses in the 21st verse of the 5th chapter of the Holy Scripture, the book of the table spread. O my people, enter the Holy Land, which Allah has assigned to you, and do not turn back from fighting in Allah's cause, and thus become losers. This is not just a promise of a geographical land, but also a declaration of spiritual authority. Every spiritual domain you step into under God's command becomes a reclaimed territory. The devil may have ruled that digital platform, that social circle, for years. But the moment you set foot there with the intention of truth, under the commands of heaven, the ownership begins to change. You should also know that the battlefield was not chosen for your comfort. Sometimes you may be asked to return to the digital or social environment where you have struggled the most, where you have been most tempted to sin, or where you have been most wounded in the past. This is not a coincidence. God often sends His chosen ones back to the place where they once felt powerless, not to relive the defeat, but to reverse it. What was once a source of shame and regret becomes a monument of victory and repentance. When you step onto this battlefield, your presence is a declaration in the unseen realm. Rightful authority has arrived. The enemy will feel it instantly. That is why the moment of entry is crucial. You do not enter distracted, unsure of your intention, or with the aim of a casual, aimless scroll. You step in with the awareness that you are about to change the atmosphere of that environment with the light of truth you carry. There will also be spiritual resistance upon arrival. The devil will present you with irrelevant but attractive content, sudden phone calls, seemingly urgent but unimportant tasks, people demanding your attention to distract you. He may even use the environment itself. A slow internet connection, an app crash, or unexpected technical difficulties. These are not coincidences. These are attempts to shake your focus before the clash begins. Your mission is to remain anchored, to stay firm in your intention, to refuse the enemy the satisfaction of diverting you from your course. You will also notice that the chosen battlefield serves as a mirror, revealing the state of your own heart before the battle. If there is a hidden pride within you, it will surface here. If there is a secret envy or doubt, it will rise here. This is not to weaken you, but to purify you. The battlefield is as much about preparing you as it is about defeating the enemy. There will be moments when the place itself speaks, when old posts and memories surface, when emotions rise, when your past mistakes replay in your mind. When this happens, do not be disturbed. This is the Spirit showing you the history of the spiritual land you are about to reclaim, its vulnerabilities there. It is exposing the roots so that you can strike not just at the surface, but at them. The devil chose this digital environment because he believed no one could challenge him here, that everyone would be swept away by the current. But he did not expect your awakening. He did not expect God to send someone who carries both the authority and the obedience and discernment to dismantle this long-standing fortress of heedlessness. When the battle begins, remember that these digital lands are not neutral. They will ultimately bear witness to whose intention prevails, either for the enemy or for the Lord. Your role is to ensure that when the dust settles, this place no longer echoes with darkness, lies and discord, but becomes a medium where the name of God is remembered, where truth and peace are spread. The ground is marked. The time is near. And when you stand there, you will know with absolute certainty that you are exactly where you are supposed to be, on one of the most important front lines of this age.